friends, myself Pushpalata. Today I am going to teach you the fourth lesson of 7th standard, that is nutrition in living organism. First of all, what is nutrition? Okay, and before that, uh, we are seeing that we will see that what is nutrient. Okay, so you know that some life processes go on continuously in living organism, and for that life processes the living organism need a food. Okay, that means food is essential for all living organisms. Okay, so uh, the substance which are ingested, digested and assimilated to give energy, help in growth and building health of our body is called as a foodstuff or food constituent. Okay, and the different types of food constituents which are useful and necessary for the body are called as a nutrient. So what is the nutrient? The food stuff or food constituent that we eat. Okay, so different food constituent we eat that are useful and necessary for our body and are called as a nutrient. Now the component of the food like carbohydrate, fats, proteins, vitamins and minerals are called as nutrients. Okay, that means these all food constituents which contain carbohydrate, fats, proteins, vitamins and minerals are the nutrients. So these are the nutrient. Again, the nutrient can be classified into two types. One is the micronutrient and another one is the micronutrient. Okay, so nutrient required in a large quantity are called as the macronutrient. For example, carbohydrate, proteins and fats or lipids, these are the micronutrients. And second one is the macro and micro. Okay, so micro means what? The nutrients required in a very small quantity are called as the micronutrients. So this is the macronutrients and the micronutrients. For example of nutrient is mineral and vitamins. So next is the nutrition. This is all about the nutrients. Now what is nutrition? The process of taking food by an organism and using food for energy in living organism is called as the nutrition. Okay, what is meant by nutrition? The process of taking the food, okay, by an organism. That means we take a food and we use that food for our for generate energy. So this is all about the nutrition. Now why is the need of nutrition or need for nutrition? First one is to supply the energy, okay, required for doing a work. That means to supply the energy. Then second one is growth and development of the body. Growth and development of the body. Next one is to replace the damaged cell and repair tissues. Replacing the damaged cell and repairing the tissues. And next one is to fight diseases. Next one is to fight diseases. So this is the need of nutrition. Why we need the nutrition? The answer of that, these four: supply of energy, growth and development, then next one replacing the damaged cell and repairing the tissues, and to fight the diseases. Now next one is the autotrophic and the heterotrophic. What is the autotrophic and the heterotrophic? Here the nutrition is divided into again two groups, that is autotrophic nutrition and the heterotrophic nutrition. Now what is autotrophic nutrition? Here in this type of nutrition, organism prepare their own food by photosynthesis. We know that autotrophic nutrition. Autotrophic means what? The organisms produce their own food. Okay, and what is nutrition? Autotrophic nutrition means what? Some organisms can produce their own food and thus nourish themselves. Hence is called as the autotrophic nutrition. For example, here most green plants, that means the photosynthesis process is done in the plants. Okay, and hence they make their own food and they nourish themselves. with the help of photosynthesis process. Now next is heterotrophic nutrition. What is the heterotrophic nutrition? In this type of nutrition, organism depend on the other organism for their food. We know the meaning of heterotroph. Heterotroph means what? The organism depend for their food on the others. Okay, so this is the heterotrophic nutrition. For example, Venus flytrap, mushroom, and all heterotrophic animals, we can say that. Okay, so this is all about heterotrophic nutrition and the autotrophic nutrition. Now let us see the nutrition in plants. Now here nutrition in plants, in that the autotrophic plants. So autotrophic plants, we know the meaning of autotrophic plants. Those plants that produce their own food, okay, are called as the autotrophic plants. Now here how they are nourished themselves. Okay, so by the process of photosynthesis they produce their food. Autotrophic plants use water and carbon dioxide in presence of sunlight and convert it into a food by the process of photosynthesis. Okay, then autotrophic plants have a chemical called as a chlorophyll, so which helps in photosynthesis. So due to the presence of chlorophyll, the autotrophic plants appear in green color. Okay, so why the photosynthesis processes occur in plants? Because of what? That chlorophyll pigment. Now how the actual process of photosynthesis done in the plants. Okay, we know that photosynthesis is the process performed by the plants with the help of sunlight, chlorophyll, okay, by using water and the nutrients from the soil and carbon dioxide from the air, in which they produce their own food. Okay, and in that reaction, during photosynthesis, carbon dioxide and water get converted into a carbohydrate. Okay, that means here we that plants produce carbohydrate, okay, and oxygen. Here you can see in the slide how the process is going on. That means when the carbon dioxide mix with water in presence of sunlight and chlorophyll, then the plants produce their food, that means in the form of carbohydrate. Okay, and oxygen is released, that we inhale that oxygen. So energy is transformed in the process of the photosynthesis. Light energy of the sun is get converted into a chemical energy which is stored in the form of a food. Then roots absorb water, minerals and salt from the soil. Stem transport these materials up to the leaves. Carbon dioxide from the air is taken inside from the stomata of the leaves. Here the figure is showing here. From this you can understood the process of photosynthesis. In the leaves there are chloroplasts which contain a chlorophyll. We know that chlorophyll is present in the leaves which absorbs sunlight, and hence the conversion carbon dioxide and water into a food, that is carbohydrate. In the process of photosynthesis, oxygen is given out, oxygen is released, and the green parts of the plants that have chlorophyll perform the photosynthesis. That means for the process of photosynthesis, chlorophyll is very important in the plant. Okay, the chlorophyll pigment is very important in the plant. Now next is the transportation in autotrophic plants, that means transport system in plants. So there are two transport system in plants, that is xylem and the phloem. Okay, so the transport system of plants consists of two, that is xylem and the phloem. The first one is xylem. If here in the figure you observe the that round part which is the section of the stem, okay, the cross section of the stem, in that The xylem is in the inner side and the phloem is in the outer side. Okay. Now, what is the function of the xylem? The function of the xylem is what? The transport of minerals and waters from the roots to all the parts, aerial parts of the plant. That is the function of the xylem. That means the xylem transport the minerals and waters from the root to all aerial parts of the plants. Now next is phloem. What is the function of the phloem? The transport of a prepared food, that is in the form of glucose or carbohydrate, from the leaves to the all the other parts of the plant. This food is either consumed or stored in the different parts of the plant. Here in the figure you can observe the xylem is in blue color, which is shown in the figure, okay, in the slide, and the next is orange color part, which is the phloem. Okay, the phloem is what is the function of phloem? The transport the food material or prepared food in the form of glucose to all, from leaves to all parts of the plant, and that food is consumed by that particular parts of the plant or stored in the different parts of the plant. So this is the transport system, and plants do not have separate digestive or excretory system. We know that though the plants have transport system, but they do not have a separate digestive and excretory system. So this is about the transportation of plant. Now next is nitrogen fixation. Here the gaseous nitrogen is present in air. Okay, the air contains a gaseous nitrogen. We know that in the air gaseous nitrogen is present. However, plants cannot utilize gaseous nitrogen. It needs to be fixed and it converted into a compound. Okay, the gaseous nitrogen is present in the air, but plants cannot take up gaseous nitrogen. It is therefore converted into a nitrogenous compound. Okay, and this is known as the nitrogen fixation. So nitrogen fixation is of two types, that is biological nitrogen fixation and atmospheric nitrogen fixation. Let us see what is the meaning of biological nitrogen fixation or biological fixation of nitrogen. When nitrogen fixation is done by the microbes present in the soil, then it is known as the biological nitrogen fixation. That means the nitrogen is nitrogen fixed in the soil with the help of microbes. That is called biological nitrogen fixation. There are two species of microbes performing this nitrogen fixation, that is Rhizobium and the Azotobacter. Rhizobium microbes are seen in the root nodules of the leguminous plant. They absorb atmospheric nitrogen and convert it into its compound, that is nitrates, and that nitrates is provided to all parts of the plants with the help of roots. Okay, the next one is Azotobacter. Azotobacter microbes are present in the soil. They are also convert the atmospheric nitrogen into nitrates. That means this is the biological nitrogen fixation. That means that nitrogen is fixed into a compound, that is nitrate, with the help of microbes. First is the Rhizobium and second one is the Azotobacter. Now next one is atmospheric fixation of nitrogen. Now in that what happened in the atmospheric fixation of nitrogen? Here the lightning at the time of rainy season causes a chemical reaction. So during the lightning in the rainy season, there is the chemical reaction between the atmospheric nitrogen and the oxygen, and due to that chemical reaction there is the formation of nitrous oxide or nitric oxide. So that nitric oxide again oxidized to form a nitrogen dioxide, that is NO2, and this nitrogen dioxide dissolves in the rainwater to form nitric oxide, to form a nitric oxide, that is HNO3, and that nitric acid is added to the soil along with the rainwater, and in this way the nitrogen is supplies to the plants. So here are the two fixation of nitrogen, that is biological fixation of nitrogen and the atmospheric fixation of nitrogen. The next one is the symbiotic association. Okay, symbiotic association or symbiotic nutrition. Symbiotic relationship you can say, or symbiotic nutrition. That means how the nutrition occurred due to that symbiotic or symbiosis. So when two or more than two different types of plants live together to fulfill their needs such as nutrition, protection, support, etc. with each other help, then it is known as symbiotic nutrition. For example, lichen. Here in slide you can observe the example lichen. Some plants live together and share shelter and nutrients. Example lichen. In lichen, an algae and the fungus lie together. The fungus provides shelter, water and mineral to the algae. The algae provides food to the fungus which it prepares by photosynthesis. That means they are interdependent with each other. They are interdependent to each other, and due to this the symbiotic nutrition is happened there. Okay, so this is all about the symbiotic nutrition. Now next is this is all about the autotrophic plants. Next is the heterotrophic plants. We know that the meaning of heterotrophic plants. Okay, what is the meaning of heterotrophic plants? They cannot make their own food by the process of photosynthesis. And why? Because plants, the heterotrophic plants that do not contain a chlorophyll pigment, okay, and hence they are heterotrophic plants. So they grow on or in the other plant body for obtaining food. They are insectivorous, saprophytic or parasitic. For example, Loranthus, Venus flytrap, Cuscuta. Okay, here are seen the figure of Venus flytrap. Okay, are the parasitic plants. Okay, so there are three types of heterotrophic plants: parasitic, insectivorous and saprophytic. So what is the meaning of parasitic plant? The plants that grow on the body of the other plants to obtain food are called as the parasitic plants. For example, Cuscuta. In your textbook they are given the example of the Cuscuta. Okay, now this is next one slide. Here is the parasitic plants. You can observe here Cuscuta plant. So that they do not have leaves, therefore cannot make their own food through photosynthesis. They climb on other plants or trees. In second one figure you can observe that all Cuscuta plant is occurred there on that tree. Okay, so they cover that plant. Cuscuta plant is cover whole tree. So they have roots that suck food of other parts of plants or trees. So this is the parasitic plant. Now next one is insectivorous plants. From this name we can understood what is the meaning of insectivorous plants. So that insectivorous plants, that means that plants feeds upon the insect to obtain nutrients. So that is the insectivorous plants. Such plants are generally in soil or water that is deficient nitrogen compounds. That means, for example, here Drosera, or you can observe the Venus flytrap, pitcher plants. Okay, they have bright colors with which attract the insect easily. The flowers can close to trap insect. Once an insect trapped, they released. Once the insect is trapped, they release chemicals to digest the insect. Okay, so this is all about the insectivorous plants. Insectivorous means what? They feed on insect. and they take nutrients from that insect, that is the insectivorous plant. For example, Venus flytrap, pitcher plant, and again here given the Drosera plant. You can observe that Drosera plant here. Okay, how the Drosera plant nourish themselves with the help of that insect. So Drosera burmuli has a flower-like appearance. It grows close to the ground. Its leaves are attractively pink or red in color with hair at the margin, and droplets of the sticky substance found at the tip of that hairs attract insect. Okay, you can observe here a droplet of that sticky substance, okay, which is attract to the insect. The scientist Johnson Burman identified this plant in Sri Lanka in 1737, and hence the plant is named after him. Okay, that means that scientist has found that plant, and hence the plant name is given to the scientist name is given to that plant, that is Drosera burmuni. Okay, so this is all about the insectivorous plant. Now next is saprophytic plants. Saprophytic plants means here in the picture you can observe the example of saprophytic plants. That saprophytic plant do not have leaves or chlorophyll. They get food from the dead organism. For example, here fungus and mushroom you can observe in the picture in the slide. Okay, the saprophytic plants obtain the food from dead and decaying bodies of other organism, that is saprophytic. Okay, that means they depends for their food on dead and decaying matter or dead and decaying bodies of the other organism. Some fungi spoil the food, some are disease causing, while some have medicinal properties. Useful fungi here in the saprophytic plants there are useful fungi. For example, yeast and few mushrooms. In fermentation process and bread making, yeast is used. Okay, and some mushrooms are used as a food because they are rich source of iron and vitamins. That means what, some saprophytic plants are used in bread making, that is yeast, and some mushrooms are used as a food which are rich in iron and the vitamins. So this is all about the saprophytic plants. Saprophytic means what, they do not prepare their own food. They depends for their food on the dead and decaying bodies of the other organism. Okay, so this is the saprophytic plants. Now here the role of nutrients and effects of their deficiency of plants. That means the nutrients are very important for the plants. So here which one is the first nutrient, that is nitrogen. What is the function here given? Important component of protein, chlorophyll and cytoplasm. And due to what is the effect of deficiency? The retarded or stunted growth, yellowing of the leaves. That means due to the deficiency of nitrogen in plants, what happened? The growth of that particular plants will be stunted or retarded, and the leaves are become yellowing. Now next one is phosphorus. What is the function? Conversion of light energy into a chemical energy. And then next one is, what is the effect of deficiency? Early leaf fall, late flowering, slow growth of roots. So these are the effect due to the deficiency of phosphorus. Next one is potassium. Potassium is necessary for metabolic activities in plants. Okay, now due to the deficiency of potassium, the weak stem, wilting of leaves, failure to produce carbohydrate. So this is all about potassium. Next one is magnesium. The function of magnesium is production of chlorophyll, which is very important function. Okay, and due to the deficiency of magnesium, there is slow and retarded growth, then yellowing of leaves again. Now iron. Now production of chlorophyll, then yellowing of leaves. Due to the deficiency of iron, again the leaves are yellowing. Now manganese. What is the function of manganese? Production of main plant hormones, and due to the deficiency of manganese, the retarded growth, spotted leaves. Okay, then next is, and last one is zinc, that is production of hormones and their intermediates in plants. Then due to the deficiency of zinc, retarded growth and yellowing of leaves, that means the growth will be retarded and the leaves becomes yellowing due to the absence of zinc. Okay, so this is all about the role of nutrients and effects of the deficiency in plants. Now next is, here we finish the nutrition in plants. Okay, all parts of the nutrition in plants. Now write down your homework. What is your homework? Write the definition of the following with 2 examples of each. First one is autotrophic plants, B nutrition, C insectivorous plants, and D saprophytic plants. So in nutrition you can write the 2 types of nutrition, that is the example, autotrophic nutrition and heterotrophic nutrition. Okay, now question number 2 is, write the table of role of nutrient that we discussed now, effect of their deficiency of plants in HW. So you have to write that all question number 1 and 2 in your HW. So